Hello, sweet team. Welcome back to my channel. This is Sweet Achille. I am so excited to be with you all today, and I hope everyone is doing wonderfully well. As you can see, I'm peeling some cassava because we will be making cassava flour today. It is a very easy process and you will love it, especially if you use cassava flour in your recipes. It is also gluten free. So let's do this. When you're done peeling, always remember to remove the core, which is the stringy line that lines the middle of the cassava. All right, we don't need that in the flour. Please use a cutting board. I'm used to doing it this way, but I don't want anybody to hurt themselves. Once we're done, we're going to wash the cassava very well, and there you have it. The next is to cut or grate it. Whichever way is easy for you, that is what you're going to do. So as I said, you can go right ahead and cut it into tiny slices like this so that it'll dry quickly. All right, or you can chop it into really small pieces. It is totally up to you. So if you don't want to use a grater, this is what you can do. But I find the grater very easy, and I use the larger part of the grater, and you just grate it away. Please be careful that you don't grate your fingers though. And there you have it. This is making me want to try abacha. So my Niger people, yes, I've been watching. The next step is for me to squeeze out some of the water, as much of the water that's in there as possible. It is totally optional. I just want to give the drying process a head start. After squeezing, do not get rid of this water. Just allow it to sit and the starch will settle on the bottom, and we will add that to our cassava flour. We'll then spread our cassava into our dehydrator tray or a regular tray depending on your method of drying. You can dry this in the sun and it should be ready by the end of the day, but I don't have any sun going on here, so I'm using my dehydrator. You can also dry it in the house, which may take a couple of days, but at the end of the day, you're still going to have your homemade cassava flour with no additives. I'll go ahead and set it on 115 degrees Fahrenheit for 12 hours, okay? Now, after 12 hours, if it's still not completely dried up, I'll give it some more time. While that is going on, I'll begin with the second method, which is the frozen cassava method. This one is readily available at all times, but the fresh one, at times you can get it. So if you're using the frozen cassava, I just leave it out to thaw, give it a good wash, and then there are a couple of ways you can prep this for dehydration. After washing, I'm just going to go ahead and take out the core. And as you can see, it is so soft and very easy to work with. Next, all you have to do is to rip it into pieces if you don't want to use a knife. And as I did before, I'll squeeze out some of the water to give it a head start in the drying process. Continental food, madam. Food, madam. International food captain. We'll show you how to make pizza. Jollof, pangu and okro soup. You can also go right ahead and cut it into thin slices to help it dry faster. Okay, so choose whichever way is easier for you. There you have it, very thinly sliced, and you can just place it in your dehydrator to dry as well. But we're going to go ahead and blend this. So I'm going to transfer it into my blender. I'll add the water that I squeezed out of the earlier cassava, and once I pour it in, you will notice the starch settled on the bottom. Set it aside to dry or add it to the blender. Blend it beautifully, and then we're going to go ahead and transfer it into a bowl with a strainer insert, which I will line with a flour sack cloth. If you don't have a bowl like this, you can use any bowl in your house with a strainer. Okay, once I pour it in, I'll just allow it to sit for the water to sip out. I'm back to check on it, and as you can see, a lot of the water is out of it, but I still want more to come out. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the water that I already have, but whatever starch that is in there, I'll keep, because once everything is done, we will add the starch to it. We don't want to lose the starch, as you see right here. At this point, I'm just going to tie the cloth, and I'll sit heavy objects on it to get rid of the excess water. You may be wondering why I'm taking it through this process. I find that after drying, this method blends the easiest than the grated one before the cut up one. So choose the method that best suits you and use it. Our dehydrator just went off, so I'm going to go ahead and check if my cassava is nice and dry, and it is. So I'll get it out and set it aside. Now we're back to the blended cassava. I'm going to check if enough water is out of it, and then we'll begin the drying process of this as well. Now you want to make this when you have a lot of time on your hand. Don't leave this out overnight, because it'll turn to agbelima, and we don't want that, okay? And as you can see, it is nicely dried up. It's not dry like dry, but most of the water is out of it, as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer it into my dehydrator tray, or any tray of your choice if you're drying it inside or under the sun. And I'll dehydrate this for 12 hours as well, but this time overnight. We started the whole process in the morning, so the fresh cassava is already dry, and we work on this, and soon we will have our homemade cassava flour. And please do not forget the starch that was derived out of extracting the water out of our cassava. Add it and dry everything together. So I'm just scraping it out, and I'll add it to the rest, and we'll dry it. And remember this one, I'm just going to go ahead and scrape it out. It is almost dry, so I'll add it to what is drying now. And at the end, we did not waste anything. It is the next day. Good morning, everybody. So our cassava have dried beautifully, as you can see. So it is time for us to begin blending everything together.
Continental food, madam. Food, madam. International food captain. We'll show you how to make pizza, jollof, banku and okra soup, sushi and pastries. All this and more. Sweet ajay. Go, 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 sweet ajay. Go, 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 sweet ajay. Continental food, madam. international food captain. We'll show you how to make pizza, jollof, banku and okra soup, sushi and pastries. All this and more. Sweet Ajay, go go, go go, gaga go. Sweet Ajay, go go, go go, gaga go. Sweet Ajay.
Now, although my blender is quite good and this looks like it is finely blended, I'm still going to sift it out. And I'm using this very fine sift that I brought from Ghana. For those of you that watched what was in my suitcase, yes, my beautiful sister Pearl Penny got this for me. Hey sis, thank you so much. As you can see, I'm still making good use of it. This is what we got out of that, very tiny pieces. So you really don't have to, but I choose to do that. I'll set it aside and I'll repeat the sifting process until everything is nicely sifted out. And there you have it. It is now very nice and smooth. But this one I'm not going to get rid of. I'm going to go ahead and transfer it into my coffee grinder because it is a smaller space, so it'll grind it better. This can be stored in an airtight container for up to a year. And there you have that one. Do you see how nice and smooth it is? Absolutely beautiful. Remember, this is what it looked like before. So I'll continue the process until everything is done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do not forget to give your girl a thumbs up. Thank you. Share and subscribe if you have not done that yet. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to my channel. This is Sweet Ajele. Thank you so much for subscribing. And to the sweet team, y'all know I love you. Until I see you in my next video, stay safe, keep loving each other, and remember that the love of God and family is life's greatest blessing. And guys, ke onamini ochemi sweet mahabotu. Bye y'all.